I'm here.
All right.
6:30.
Okay.
All right, good morning. Welcome in for another Friday safety focus of the week, October 4th, beginning at quarter four. This week's code of conduct: don't overpromise or underdeliver. Ben Dow, anything to add for this week?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yep.
Yeah, I've been having problems with my mic, so I wanted to make sure. Yeah, don't overpromise or underdeliver is a good one to have. Is just in our planning of our work to have reasonable expectations. We usually have that gut feeling of what we can bite off. And if we have reasonable expectations and explain to everyone what the plan is, we have a better chance of doing it safely. Because when we overpromise, we tend to try to perform a little faster and harder, and we might end up getting into some unsafe conditions to try to meet unreasonable expectations. So it's a different spin on it, but as Grandpa used to say, don't bite off more than you can chew.
I guess the key is planning, right? And Matt's
Yeah.
going to talk to us about planning excavations today, right?
Yep. There, tie it together.
You
There we
nailed
go.
it, Ken. That's what excavations is all about, is pre-planning, because you could paint yourself in a corner and have to do unsafe stuff to get the work done if you don't plan
Yep.
ahead.
There. How did we do? We didn't even pre-plan that.
All right. So unfortunately, on Wednesday we had a recordable injury. Pinch fingers, putting our hands where we probably shouldn't, instead of using crowbars or bars to help with the scenario. So we're had to kind of reset. So let's try to really focus in and calibrate our decision making, baking in safety into our thought process before we do something. So hopefully we can kind of have a strong rest of the year. Historically, October has kind of been a rough month on safety wise. We've had usually an uptick in incidents and recordable injuries in October. So we're going to talk a little bit more about behavior based safety topics throughout the month after today. But let's really, bake in safety in our decision making, and let's try to eliminate unsafe behaviors and unsafe conditions moving forward. Go home safe and sound each and every day. As we already kind of mentioned today, we're going to talk about trench safety, kind of best practices. It's been a little while since we've done this topic, so I kind of want to just raise some awareness. Some things that we're hearing through the agency of Vermont regarding compliance visits, and we're seeing an uptick in trench violations throughout the state of Vermont. Historically, something that we do extremely well, but however, sometimes if we don't pre-plan proper enough, we could get ourselves in a pickle, and it's really hard to put a trench box in or slope it properly if we don't plan ahead. So I wanted to show this quick graph. This is kind of the last decade in trench collapses fatalities in America. As you can see, in 2022, we had quite a bit uptick in the country. There was a couple of real bad ones, Boston and New York City. One of them was JFK Airport. I think 4 people died in that one. Just doing our type of work, putting water line in and without a box, and the whole thing caved in. A cubic yard of material is roughly a small compact car. Roughly 2,000 pounds. So it's something that we can't take lightly. I know sometimes we could get complacent because we're in these trenches all the time, but the weight of soil is real. And if there's a cave in occurs, it gets real fast. So think of it as a grave. You're entering a grave, and you want that grave to be shored or protected, so you're safe and sound each and every time you're in any excavation or trench. So I kind of just wanted to show some photos the rest of the presentation, and just kind of maybe have a little open discussion if someone feels comfortable turning on their mic and jumping in and kind of playing a little dance with me. So is this safe? You see this? Does everybody see this kind of line right here in this excavation? Would this be safe to enter? Right? Pretty easy one, right? For getting the conversation started. No, it's very dangerous, and that's why it's important that we don't put our spool piles within 2 feet of a trench excavation edge, so we can identify this cracking that you see here. So we want to make sure that all foremans in our civil and heavy civil or in trenchless, pretty much all foremen are doing those daily inspections. So that's the importance of that JHA, identifying your excavations, selecting our best practices that we identified in the JHA. So we're kind of checking that box that we're doing those inspections, we got the competent person on site, we're meeting the standard, and we're pre-planning our excavations done ahead of time. So is this one safe? What do we got wrong here, right? We got guys outside of the box, probably like an 8-foot vertical trench line. I don't know where this is, the type of soil, but again, this is just bad practice, unsafe behaviors at its finest. So what's wrong with this one? There's no protection, no means of egress, right? Remember, we got to have proper means of egress at 4 feet, can be an earthen ramp. Historically, in most trench works, it's all ladders. So make sure that ladder stands 3 feet above the landing, and within 25 feet of the employee in the trench line. So this one, this is kind of common, but is it safe? Is it safe? Yeah, probably is kind of safe. Is it compliant though? The answer to that one is no. Our spool piles are within 2 feet. We don't have proper freeboard. Remember, our trench boxes to the toe of slope above the box needs to be 18 inches of freeboard. And then there needs to be kind of proper sloping above the box, which is really hard to tell in this photo, but for the purpose of training and just raising awareness, I just wanted to kind of add that one to this photo. So those are all kind of the best practices with trench box. Again, we don't want to float our box more than 2 feet. We don't have to.
Should have had a ladder in there too.
Yep, and a ladder. Excellent. Thanks for jumping in, whoever did that. And I wanted to kind of highlight the things that we're good at. This was a couple weeks ago up in the Notch Road in Bolton. It's Randy and crew, Richie Munson. Granted, it's not super deep, but still proper slopes, easy means of egress. They cut an earthen ramp. It's hard to see kind of where I was standing, but you could easily walk in and out of this thing here right by the excavator on both sides. A well sloped, well thought out plan. They did a JHA ahead of time. They identified their hazards. They knew they were going to slope. Their means of egress was an earthen ramp. Best practices were being performed, and it was a good plan done ahead of time, and they executed it. It was really nice to see. And this was just this week in Richmond. My site visit this week. You got a registered professional design kind of protection plan here for trenching. You got our sheets, tiebacks, a really nice slope done by the team in this back wall, easy earthen ramp that you see kind of on the right side of the head wall that was poured in place. So it was a really well thought out, well executed excavation and trenching done by us. And I can't emphasize the point of pre-planning, knowing the tops of your slopes if you're gonna do a sloping for precast or cast in place concrete footers or stuff like that. And if we're doing water, any utility work, trench line work, let's just use boxes. It's plan ahead, use the box, get the right piece of machine that can handle those boxes. It makes our lives a lot easier when we pre-plan and have a good game plan ahead of time when we're doing any trenching work. So VOSHA's kind of website, their compliance officers are hitting this hard. We're seeing it in the state of Vermont. Any excavation trench that a compliance officer sees is supposed to stop and do an inspection. So let's really make sure that we slope it, shore it, shield it. Anything deeper than 5 feet, we got to be doing it. And if we're not, we need to be correcting it right away. Anything to add, Ken, Ben, anybody else out there?
Yeah, I got a comment. The 18 inches of freeboard is applicable when you're sloping down from existing grade. That if you had a box right at grade, say a road surface, that you don't have to extend it up 18 inches there. It's only when you do a pre-cut down into the ground.
Yep, that is correct.
Also, I think maybe when you have a pile next to it. I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I think the idea is that you don't want stuff tumbling down
exactly
into the trench. So as long as you take measures to make sure that if you're at grade, you have it far enough away and possibly a gap so that's, debris falls in before it tumbles into the trench.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and one of the common ones that I see too is if they're using a trench box laying pipe, a lot of times they'll have a little bit too small of a machine and they'll have a very, very steep slope on the machine end where they have their end of their pipe and they're working on the pipe and they have an almost vertical wall right at the end of the trench box where they're unprotected. So make sure that you have enough machine that you can kind of slope that out too.
Yep.
That looks like a pretty cool brick chimney on a sewer manhole. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yep.
Well, that's all I have. Any follow-up questions? We do have the excavation standard handbook really available. We hand these out for like new employees. If anybody wants another kind of hard copy refresher to put in their book or put in their truck. But again, Tom and I are available for any questions regarding the standard or best practices, but everything's built into our JHA. So as long as we're kind of following that and identifying that, we should be in good shape.
Okay, I'll take over the screen.
Excuse me.
Okay, is that the right one and is it showing up on your screen?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
We don't have the photos, Ken.
Oh yeah, let me
Download
open
those.
photos. Yeah. Okay, much better.
There you go.
Okay, we have one new announcement, and that's that the Morgan Stanley Financial Advisors will be at ECI on Friday, October 4th. That's today. So I just put this in this week. I didn't see a reminder to put it in last week. Hopefully people are signed up. If you need an appointment, there might still be some available. I don't know. So check with Melanie. Okay, so the 304 keys is again on the list here to get done, and our links to the Facebook and Instagram. Let's see, we have an announcement on the ECI Fall Celebration of 2024. All ECI employees are encouraged to attend this team meeting to celebrate our accomplishments and discuss our future. And that's on Friday, November 1st from 2 to 5 at the Doubletree by Hilton out in South Burlington, the old Sheridan Hotel. So, hey, Ben Dow, are you serving some kind of food there?
Yeah. So one day I was joking with Ken about getting everybody together. We have 207 employees now,
Wow.
40 of which have come since January 1st. We've had a great season. Part of our strength that I think makes us stand apart. See, you asked me to talk, and that's always a danger. Is
I only asked you if you're serving food because I want to know.
Our unity. And so I was explaining all this to Ken, and I
food.
said, Ken, it would be great to get everyone together. I'd love to give them all a snack. And so Ken agreed that he would take care. So you did agree that you would take care of that. Will you take care of getting us some snacks if we show up?
Yeah, what do you want me to make?
We could talk about it. No, great time to get together. We've had a great season. I was just thinking about the fact that there's 20% of us that are new this year. Get a chance to have everyone to get together and celebrate the greatest strength that we have, which is our unity and our ability to work as a team. And the best way to do that is to get in person once in a while, and all get together so we can get aligned on our purpose, which, as we all know, is safe work practices, quality work, and then also being productive and efficient. And it's just good to get together once in a while, Ken, and talk about that as a team. And I always think that it's great when we get together. We do it with the foreman in the spring, and a lot of employees have talked about the fact that, hey, you guys have that kickoff meeting. What about can we go? Can I go? So let's have a meeting where everybody can come. And we can talk about some of our purpose moving forward. So I think it's great. We're doing it during work hours. And yes, we're going to pay everybody to come because it is a company meeting. And you'll have a chance to get together, sharing our purpose, and it'll be a good time because Ken's bringing the snacks.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Ben. So this week we have two new employees. We have Jacob Davison, he's in the rail group, and then Nick Goodrow, and he is a civil project manager. So welcome, guys. And let's see. Oh, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? What color should we be wearing, do you
Oh
think? I'm
man.
subtly suggesting here, right? I got mine on right now. And if you want a t-shirt or a sweatshirt with the pink lettering, they're $10 each. All the proceeds go to breast cancer charity. I don't know what one we're picking. Usually we do the UVM Cancer Foundation. See Sarah Wallen for details and orders, and she is also key in recommending the charity. So if you have a charity that would seem like maybe appropriate, give her a suggestion.
Yeah. And Ken, I'm not sure about this, but I think that all the swag that we purchase in October, like the sweatshirts and the other t-shirts and stuff,
Right.
I think that that also goes to charity besides just the pink shirts.
Yeah, pretty much the company buys all the
Yeah.
stuff
Yep.
and then donates all the stuff, and all the proceeds go to the charity. So that's
Yep.
a great way to do it.
Yep.
So display your pink. Okay, the ECI Wellness program summary is here as a link, and also the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. So check it all out, especially the let's define a couple things. The primary care wellness program is more of a long-term practice and trying to get yourself into a good wellness mood and mode. And then the EAP is more of a crisis sort of thing. So when you're in more of a crisis, you could still go maybe call up. You could certainly call up the primary care wellness provider, Champlain Medical, but the EAP is available 24/7, and it's free. It's confidential, just like the other one, but they're kind of a little bit different. Just wanted to let you know.
Yep.
And I assume that Matt Saganowicz is out there.
I'm out here.
All right. You want to drive, or you want to let me drive?
You can drive.
Okay, I'll drive. I'll scroll down a little bit, or scroll it up, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Engineers Construction was contracted with VTrans to do a project in Thetford, Vermont, in Orange County, on the Washington County Railroad, down on Route 5 near the Connecticut River. The project was split into two scopes of work. A B scope, which is a replacement of a culvert with a 30-inch poly-coated steel culvert, and some new rail and new ballast improvements, and excavate out the stream to make it flow a lot better. There was a lot of debris and stuff in there that needed to be taken out, silt, to clean it up and make that flow better. The C scope was a washout. This is a FEMA project, so FEMA funded. It was a washout, so there was some embankment stabilization, and again, some new ties and resurfacing to go along with it. You want to scroll down a little bit more, we can show the area. We're very close, and in some of the pictures you can see we're very close to the Connecticut River. The first portion of the project, the B portion, was replacing the culvert. And you can't see my cursor because Ken's showing, but Route 5 is at the top, and there's like a farm crossing for him to get over into a cornfield next to the Connecticut River, and it crosses the rail. So keeping that culvert flowing good and the road stabilized was an important thing. There was a existing stone culvert there. We took that out, excavated that out, put in the new 30-inch poly-coated culvert, and then rebuilded it up from there. We used some type 2 stone for the inlet and outlet portions of the culvert to help with erosion and cleaning the debris out before it goes actually through the culvert itself. The space was limited, it's a railroad, so you have to work within the railroad right-of-way area. So we had a good idea to use traffic signals to utilize a lane during the whole project on Route 5. As you can see up top, here's a portion of the traffic control plan utilizing the traffic signals. And it was it worked out great. We had a whole lane to park trucks, bring in material. It was a good, piece of the project that we were able to use with no permits or anything like that. It worked out really well. Here are some cross sections of the culvert. The culvert wasn't very deep. I think, it was roughly 7 feet to the bottom of a culvert. We excavated an additional foot to get the granular backfill underneath, and then, worked our way back up and basically backfilled back up to the farm crossing grade, and we were done. On this portion of the culvert project, we did replace 120 ties. We resurfaced and aligned tracks about 375 feet, somewhere around there, and then replaced the ballast. And the pictures that'll come up will really show how it turned out. Where Ken has it right now is the C side of things, which is the where there was a washout with the embankment. So there are some larger trees that the guys removed. We grubbed everything, kind of dug it out to type 3 stone depth, and just stabilized that whole embankment with type 3 into stone. On this portion of it, there was some tie replacement. I think this side only had like around 75 ties and 310 feet of surface and aligned track with new ballast. And I think we're going to show a nice cross section here so you get a good idea, Ken, if you want to scroll down, of what it looks like. Yeah, here you go. So yeah, this area kind of got washed out. So they wanted it stabilized. You can see where the guardrail is up here. That's Route 5. And then the track section down at the bottom. There was in this area like a pull-off. I don't know if it's for the public or whatever, where people were dumping a lot of trash. You hear about that on the news. V-Trans completely took out the turnoff, and then we extended new guardrail through that area, so no one will be pulling in there, dumping their garbage there. So we'll get into some pictures. This is the culvert reconstruction. You can see the 30-inch polycarbonate culvert there. It looks like we have the 245 there with GPS, and we dug it down and started to install it. Here are the guys digging it down to getting it to that foot of granular backfill to set the culvert on. And when you came into this project, I mean, it was just full of brush. You couldn't even see the existing stone culvert that was there. It was a really, really big mess. It really needed to be cleaned out so the stream could flow properly. Here are the rail crew setting the culvert, and we're controlling water Luckily, at this time of year, there was very minimal water. It helped us, proceed with the culvert without any issues or bypass pumping or anything like that. This looks like Zebby. I don't think he's sleeping. I think he's just concentrating really well.
Right.
Yeah. Just waiting probably for them to get the pipe together so he could backfill.
Yep.
And he's in the 210 high rail excavator. Here's Mike Hutchins helping. This is the bank stabilization portion of it. We did a lot of it from Route 5, and you can see to the left, the lane closure there, which really helped us. This was a little challenging, obviously, because there was some low-hanging wires above us, but the guys did really good to maintain spotters and watching everything. We did have to roll out geotextile for the type 3 stone. We would lay down first. And this portion, I think the guys were cleaning up the ditch, so the water would flow down to the new culvert that we put in downstream. I think the stream gets heavier with rain. Some of it comes right off the roadway down into this. So it really needed to be done because it had no place to go. It flooded the tracks, silted the tracks and the ballast. Here's another pictures of the guys loading out the high rail dump trucks that we used on this project because it was a FEMA project. Thankfully, for once, VTrans gave us a disposal site. They weren't the greatest disposal sites, but we managed to utilize them, and they were right off the rail, and it was easy to do. And here we are dumping into those sites. Get rid of the waste.
Oops. Oh, what happened here? You still see my screen, I assume?
Oh yeah,
Yep,
still see it.
yep.
Yeah, okay, I lost it.
This
but
is why I don't drive.
There we go. Yeah.
Here's the 245. You can see down the way there, how they cleaned out everything, and some of the new ballast that we put in. This is the bank stabilization, so you can really see where we, remove the guardrail kind of stopped just before this. And then there was a big, like this was all filled with trees and debris and like garbage that people were dumping down there, which probably made the bank less stable because, it wasn't good material, just garbage and stuff. So we cleaned all that out, cut all the trees, excavated out all the bad material. Then here you are. We're placing some really nice type 2 and type 3 stone here. Eventually, once this was completed, we installed the new guardrail all the way down that area so people wouldn't try to use that same spot for conveniently dumping trash.
Was it covered with topsoil after over that stone fill?
We didn't. It wasn't a grubbed type of stone fill, which I actually kind of like. I've heard different opinions about it, but you'll see in some other pictures, this wasn't that type of bank, and I actually like that look better, but this is my personal opinion. Yep. So this is the crossing where we installed the new culvert. This is looking like if you headed that way, you would go to the bank stabilization. Originally, VTrans here had the gravel going through the crossing, and for the farmer, which would be a maintenance nightmare. I mean, probably after the first year, all of that stuff would have been destroyed. Ron and the crew had a great idea about, making it what I call, I don't know the exact term, but like a farm type of crossing or a wood type of crossing, which is much better and it'll last so much longer. It came out really well. You can see all the ditching and bringing the grade down to the culvert and the road here. Amazing, beautiful job compared to what it looked like when we got there. Here is looking from Route 5 down to the Farmer Crossing. You can see he has some corn there. The Connecticut River's in the background. We did use, I believe it was type 2 stone, a little bit smaller, for, the inlet and outlets, which I think work really good because it kind of traps some of the silt and stuff before it gets in there. And then it does erode out the sides. And then with all the matting and seed and stuff. I'm sure I haven't been down here since the walkthrough, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I know we got a little bit of rain. I'm sure there's grass coming up everywhere.
Mhm.
Looks really good. Amazing job, with the rail crew. Again, where Ron's truck is, that is Route 5 up there. I'm looking back this way. This is the inlet side of it. And again, it was dry, so there's not much water going through at the moment. But I think when it does rain, it comes off Route 5 and will definitely flow through here. Needed to be done. Here is a portion of some of the new ballast and resurfacing that we did. Looks great. Looking down, kind of more towards those trees back there, that was one of the fill sites, and it's kind of hard to show here, but standing at the farm crossing, looking down or walking down there, the guys did a really amazing job, like getting that fill to look nice and grading it out and matting it and seeding it. I made a joke while I was there. I was like, man, that looks like a nice little picnic area down there. That's how nice it looked. This is some of the abate. You can see that we didn't do all the stone. This is dirt that we just stabilized with grass and rosin matting. But we didn't have to put the grubbings back into the stone, which I like. And then this picture also shows, which the other picture didn't, is the actual installed guardrail all the way down. So there shouldn't be any more dumping or issues there. This is a track view of that same picture. Really clean, really good job. The rail guys, do great work.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh my God. And these pictures, like they look good, but being on site,
Yep.
it really does it justice.
So this is a good job. Thank you very much, Matt, for
Oh, no
presenting.
problem. My
Doing your
pleasure.
job. Great pictures too. I like to emphasize pictures, right?
Yeah, and that was a collaboration of pictures. A lot of the guys take their own, and I try to get those because some of them are really, because they're right in the work, right doing the job, and they take that picture and they really come out well.
They can find the right moment to
Yes. Yeah,
capture the
exactly.
essence of the job.
Yeah, better than me rolling in there, just taking a few pictures here. Like they're right there doing the work, taking the pictures. It's great.
Yep. So for the photo archives, we have the Verizon Wireless Cell Tower Foundation in Thetford, more in the hills of Thetford. And that's back in June 2006. So very likely that this tower was transmitting and receiving the signal from Ron's cell phone
Mhm.
when Matt called.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, good. I'm all set. I'll turn it back over to the safety department to close out the meeting. Have a good Friday and be safe.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining. If you're watching a group setting, please send over attendance to Tom or myself so we can capture that. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
All righty. Thank you.